It's time. I have gone almost 4 weeks without coloring my hair. And once I have this much gray regrowth, there's only so much I can do with using my root concealing sprays and wearing a hat and things like that to try to cover it up. And as you can see, I just color my own hair at home, usually every 3 weeks or almost 4 weeks like I've gone this time. It saves me a ton of money. My hair stays really, really healthy because I only put the hair coloring on that new growth of gray roots. I always put on the plastic gloves, but for some reason this glove does not want to open. Okay, you're gonna open. It's open. Okay, so I use the gloves that come in the box coloring. I mix the color with the developer, shake it up, and I'm ready to go. So I always like to gently brush my hair first, and then I just brush out any tangles just to make it easier. I love this brush. Ignore the hair that's already in it. This is by far the most inexpensive but best brush ever. Now you could invest in a little $2 hair coloring brush. I have one, but I just don't use it. I just use my finger. And I will just start at the front because that's where I have most of the white gray hair. And I just section it off. As you can see, I have a lot of gray. And then I just apply a little bit of it, and then I spread it out on this side and then spread it on that side. And of course, when I'm not filming, it's like doot, 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 doot. It's super duper fast. And then I just section off another small piece, same thing. Put a big squirt of it there, and then just blend it in. Let me get really close. As you can see, I am only putting this hair color on the new growth roots. I don't put this all over my hair every single time. Also, if you have gray hair and you're wanting to color your own hair at home, the best hair coloring, in my opinion, to cover gray, that's really good, especially if you have resistant gray hair. This one by L'Oreal, not their preference, but their excellence. This one I find to be the best ever. That's the one I always buy. And this is not sponsored or anything like that. They don't know who I am. This is just the one that I love, love, love using. So this is all I'm gonna do, is go all the way around my hair, parting it in small sections and squeezing a little bit of this on here. Super duper simple. One thing I want to show you really quickly, around my edges, have you ever been to the hair salon and they like squirt it all over and you've got hair coloring dripping all down your face, and then at the very end they take a towel and like some type of color remover and they're like scrubbing it? If you have melasma or hyperpigmentation like I do, that is like a big no-no. Friction like that will aggravate those melanocytes and it will make my melasma so dark. So as soon as any hair coloring gets actually on my skin, I will just take a damp cloth within, I'd say like a minute. You know, I don't wait like 10 minutes. If I just use a wet cloth, washcloth, whatever, I can gently just wipe it off before it stains my skin and before any scrubbing has to take place. Let me just show you how I do my hairline. I just go right here, squirt the coloring here, and then I just kind of press it to make sure it gets all of these little gray new growth pieces. Sometimes I'll even grab out one of my little 10 times magnification mirrors to make sure I get all of them. I mean, no one's gonna see your hair that close up, but hey, it helps. This is where my new growth comes out the fastest, that I notice I'm always putting root concealer on. I just will put some right here to make sure this is covered. And I like to do this pretty early on when I start coloring it to make sure these grays definitely take the color and they aren't kind of like a light blonde by the time the color processes. I want them to be this light brown color. And I'll quickly just show you what I do when I color the back of my hair. I don't really look in a mirror or anything like that. I just go by feel. So the same way you saw me sectioning off little pieces, I will just take this little tip and I'll start right here where I ended with the color, and I will section this piece here. And then I know I put color here, but we'll just put a smidgy more and just a little squirt. And then I just go by feel. And then I go down the sides and then I go down the back. And that's all I'm gonna do down the back. I section off a piece. And this is why I brush my hair first, because otherwise I'm gonna have tangles all over the place. I squirt it and then press it in with my finger. Same thing, section off another small little piece. And I will do this all the way down the back of my head. And if you do it in an upwards motion and then keep pressing the color this way, you pretty much won't miss any spots. Man, this should be my thumbnail. This is awful. So I'll tell you a funny story, and if you don't want to hear my story and you just want to get to the end result, just fast forward to the end. When I first met my husband, I've never told you guys how I met my husband. But I met my husband actually on Christian Mingle. I had been single for probably 10 years. I was married before. So I stayed single for 10 years. I got super duper busy into real estate, and that's all I did was work, work, work. I was one of the only short sale foreclosure experts in, well, I don't want to call myself an expert, that sounds terrible, but anyways, I was one of the short sale negotiators and real estate people in the town that I lived in. I was one of the very first. So I had tons of other realtors that didn't know how to do them and negotiate with the banks and do the listings and all of that. So they would give me the listing, but I would be the one that would do their short sale for them, and of course I would take a nice commission for doing all that work. I would negotiate usually 30 short sales a month. That's probably where all my gray hairs came from because most realtors would be like, oh my gosh, if I had one short sale, they were so stressed out. I enjoyed doing it. I had no children. I did have pets at the time, and I, was divorced, and I just enjoyed staying super single, focusing on me, and it was a challenge to really push myself and see what I could do in real estate. Anyways, I enjoyed it. I'm still licensed. I just don't, take on clients or anything anymore. So I was super duper busy, and I really had no interest in meeting anyone. And then my best friend one day, he was like, you're going to be single forever unless you meet somebody in the grocery store or the Amazon or UPS delivery person, because I stayed busy all the time. And I would never, ever, ever date a client. That was like a no-no for me. So anyways, I got on Christian Mingle. I had never done a dating site or anything like that, but someone said, listen, this way you can be selective. It's kind of like a resume, a job interview. Now, I don't think I would do Christian Mingle or any of those sites nowadays. I'm not judging, but I don't really know if they're all Christians or people that maybe have the same things, that you believe in common on those channels. I think a lot of it might be scams and stuff like that nowadays. But I'm 52 now. I was 39 when I met him, and I think those sites went downhill pretty quickly afterwards. So he contacted me through Christian Mingle. I am very old-fashioned, and I was like, I ain't contacting anybody. So he did contact me. He quickly was like, hey, here's my phone number, and I'm like, I don't call boys. Like, I've never called a man in my life unless it was like my husband or boyfriend. Not that I'm like too good for that, but that's just kind of how I was raised. I didn't chase guys or whatever. So we met up, and our first meeting, we went to Epcot Center, to Disney. And he got us a hotel room at, what was it called? Rose in Shingle Creek, a really pretty like golf course hotel. And I remember telling myself, if he only gets one room, I'll end up paying for my other room. But I said, if this guy gets one room, I know he is not marriage material. But he ended up getting us 2 rooms on completely different sides of the hotel. And right then I was like, okay, we're off to a good start. But funny story, I have been coloring my own hair for a very, very long time. So right here, I also have gray. Well, back then when I was coloring my own hair, I never really paid much attention to it. And I would just squirt this hair coloring and just wipe it. And I didn't really pay attention if any got on my skin. For intermission, I have some on my face, so let's get this off right now before it stains. Okay. So I showed up to meet my husband. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, but I had colored my own hair the night before. I did my nails, made sure everything was looking nice. And I never looked in the mirror. And I had hair coloring like all the way down here. Well, my husband's father, I didn't know this, I'm just going through seeing if I missed any spots. My husband's father, he used to be a hairdresser, a famous hairdresser in South America, like what they would, equivalent to like a Paul Mitchell back in the day. And his father passed away before I met him, so I never got to meet him. But so my husband was very familiar with what, hair coloring and things like that. He was a firefighter, but he knew a little bit about hair coloring and things like that. Well, he said, he didn't tell me this till like months later. When I met him and, I flipped my head to the side, he said he immediately saw that I had hair coloring all down here. And he said, I knew she colors her own hair, but he knew, okay, she's maybe not so high maintenance and she's down to earth and she, is good with finances. All these crazy thoughts, I guess, came into his head just from me having hair coloring all around here. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how embarrassing that I'm meeting him thinking I look cute and I've got brown hair coloring covered all over my neck. So ladies, don't worry. if when you meet your future husband that you have hair coloring all the way down your neck. I guess he just knew I was a regular everyday girl who colored her own hair. I'll tell you another quick funny story. Not really funny, it wasn't funny at the time. The second time I met my husband, we met again in Disney area. He lived in Miami area, I lived in Tampa area, so we would drive there and meet. It was actually the second time meeting him, so of course it's still new. And I had gone to get a pedicure, which I don't even get pedicures anymore. I just do it myself because I hate that kind of maintenance. But I went and the lady's telling me I had a hairy lip. This was before I started shaving my face. And I had a lot of peach fuzz. And I'm like, what? And she said, you have a hairy lip. She said, I fix it for you. So I'm like, oh, okay, she's gonna fix it for me because she knew we were talking. She knew I was gonna go see my boyfriend at the time, my new boyfriend. And so she waxed my lip. I've never had that done. But I had makeup and everything on, and it was like end of day, and she just wiped something on it and said, no, it's fine, I cleaned it for you. Well, it wasn't done properly. The next day I go to see him, everything's fine, but then midday, I start getting these little bumps covered all over my upper lip. Almost looked like herpes, like fever blisters everywhere. And it made my whole lip swell up. It was so embarrassing. And it was just a reaction probably from not having my skin cleaned properly, having my face waxed in a nail salon. So I will never ever do anything like that again. These are the crazy things that I went through when I first met my husband, and he still wanted to marry me. All right, now that the hair coloring is on, I want to clip up my hair, but I don't want to get this hair to touch all of this and then have this darken. Now, all of this I had balayage done at a hair salon properly about a year ago, and it's still, you know, it's still going strong. But I don't want to mess all this up. So what I do is I take a bag, I repurpose a grocery bag. So I just put all of my hair in the bag, and this is gonna look really elegant and luxurious. You must try this. And then I just kind of wrap it around to make sure none of that gets covered. And then I just take a hair clip and I just clip it right there and it stays. This way, this hair that has the balayage on it, it's not touching all of this. And then so we don't repeat what I did with my husband back in the day, I will take the wet washcloth and I'll just wipe off any coloring that may have dripped right here. Man, this mirror is dirty. I need to clean it. And then I'll just start my timer for 40 minutes. My timer just went off. I'm gonna use this shampoo and conditioner. I'm gonna wash my hair, then condition it, and then I'll come right back. All right, so I just washed my hair and I've had it drying in this little hair drying towel. I love these things. Some of them I think are really expensive, but I do really like this one. I'll link the ones that I like down below, and I'll just show you what it looks like. I look like I have fresh, new hair. Oh, and before I blow dry, I'll just show you what I use on my hair and my scalp. And by the way, if you were thinking about getting this Dyson, this whole shebang blow dryer thing, I despise this. I've had this for about a year. I definitely got influenced to purchase this, and I hate this. My curls don't hold when I use all the attachments. The blowout, I can't get a super smooth blowout. The only thing I like is this attachment that will kind of get rid of flyaways, but I think I paid like $600 or something ridiculous for this. And I continually try it, you know, I don't know, every few weeks I'll try it out, but I do not like this. It does not work. Maybe if you already have naturally straight hair, you would like it, but I have naturally kind of wavy hair now, and I feel like I don't get a super sleek, smooth blowout with this, but I'm gonna try it again, and chances are halfway through I'm gonna pull out my $25 Amazon blow dryer that I absolutely love. I will link that one down below because it has been my ride or die blow dryer for like 2 years. But this, save your money. I do not think that this is worth it. On my scalp, on the areas where I have seen more thinning that I like to keep full and dense, I just got this one from Neoxin. I've tried a bunch of different hair growth serums, and the ones that I've been using lately, I mean, I just wasn't that impressed. Actually, it was this one by Vegamore. I've gone through 2 of these, and I don't feel like my hair was falling out, but I didn't notice like, oh my gosh, I've got tons of regrowth. So I like it, I like how it feels, but I didn't really see any results after 2 bottles. So I wanted to try this one out and see if I can get even more density in my hair. So I just spray a little bit on the areas where I have seen kind of thinning in the past, where I like to make sure I keep that hair kind of full and dense and make sure the follicles are nice and stimulated so they'll continue to grow. Instead of using my fingers, I like to use this little gadget I got off of Amazon. I use this every day. I love it. It has a couple different speeds, and it's got these little silicone fingers, and look, it basically just does the massage for me. And you can see, do you see it even like moving my skin. That's how good of a massage it's giving me. So I'll just kind of hold it there in a couple little areas for, I don't know, 30 seconds on each part. And I'll go all the way around. And this one, there are some on Amazon that I saw that tangle your hair, but this one, I bought one for my mom too, and she loves it. But this one doesn't cause any hair tangling, and I love, love, love this so much. And you can just charge it with one of those little USB cables. Since it does feel really nice and it's affordable, it encourages me to use it every day. Actually, I've been using this a couple times a day. If you ever have a headache or your neck aches, you put this on the back of your neck or your head, or even right here on your temples. Oh, it's like a little, just little mini fingers giving you a nice little massage. My hair already smells so, so good from that shampoo and conditioner. It's one of my favorite shampoos and conditioners. It almost smells like a soft men's cologne, that shampoo and conditioner, so I absolutely love it. And then this, I'm just putting a little bit on the mids to ends of my hair. This is by Pureology. I've used this for years. This is their Color Fanatic. This is great as a leave-in. I think it has a heat protectant in it. And then my absolute favorite, Holy Grail hair oil. I will never be without this. I love this. This is by Olaplex. I don't love all of Olaplex's products, but this to me beats every single hair oil I've ever tried. And I just use maybe 3 to 5 drops, something like that. And then this little amount right here is perfect for my length of hair. And then after you blow dry your hair, you can put just 2 or 3 little drops of it afterwards, and you will get the most incredible shine. If you have issues with your hair not looking shiny and just kind of looking flat, just put a couple drops of this on, rub your hands together like this, and then just spread it all over your hair. It's gonna have the most beautiful high shine, and also this acts as a heat protectant as well. All right, so I'm gonna blow dry my hair and style it really quickly, and then I'll come right back. Let's take out my rollers, and I just use these and these to set it after I blow dry it. These are really neat because they're actually hair brushes and the handles come off. A couple more drops of my Olaplex oil. Get that all over the ends. Look at that shine. That's why I love this Olaplex oil. I'm gonna throw on some clothes, and now I'm ready for the day, and I'll see you in the next video.